In this course, we've discussed all of processing's core abilities, but there's more out there. People are constantly expanding the range of what processing can do. The mechanism for this is writing libraries. A library is typically a whole lot of processing code that somebody wraps up nicely and shares with the world. You can then incorporate the library in your own program. This gives you easy access to all kinds of new abilities without actually explicitly writing that code yourself. You can find a current list of libraries on the processing.org webpage under Reference Libraries. This is a good place to go at least every couple of months because libraries are often being updated and improved and new ones are being added. Let's take a look at the libraries page right now. Here's how the libraries page looks today. At the top, we can see a list of 8 libraries that are built into processing, and so they're already on your computer because you got them when you downloaded processing. As you can see, there are libraries for reading and writing video, talking to other computers over the network, and using a serial cable, which is a piece of hardware that lets 2 computers communicate. There are libraries to let you save your graphics in PDF format or in another format called DXF, which is really meant for 3D graphics. The Minim library is useful for doing audio. The Arduino library lets you connect to a little one-board computer called the Arduino. We'll return to that in a moment. The last built-in library is called Netscape.javascript, and this provides the plumbing so your program can talk to other programs on your computer that are written in Java or JavaScript. In addition to these 7 built-in libraries, there are a whole lot of user-contributed libraries. Here, they're arranged into 15 categories, covering all kinds of topics from 3D and animation to geometry, math, physics, typography, video, sound, and it goes on and on. Installing a library is usually pretty easy. Just click on this link, How to Install a Contributed Library, to get the instructions. There are lots of libraries, and so I really strongly recommend that you spend a little bit of time scrolling through the list as it stands today, and at least read the little description of each library. You never know what ideas you might get just by learning that some capability is available to you with almost no effort. One thing you need to keep in mind is that libraries are written by volunteers, just like you or me. These are just people who have written a bunch of code in processing and have thought, you know what, I'll share this with the world. And this is great, this is very generous, and it's a wonderful way of building community. It does mean that quality control is all over the map. Some libraries come with exhaustive step-by-step documentation, and some offer only minimal guidance. But every library exists because someone recognized that their code could be useful to other people, and so they went to the extra effort to wrap up the code nicely and share it with the world. On top of that, some libraries have crazy math or other specialized knowledge wrapped up inside of them. So by using the library, you can build on someone else's expertise without having to learn those skills yourself. So it might take a little work to figure out how to use some libraries, but it's almost always worth the effort. As I mentioned before, one of the built-in libraries allows you to connect to something called an Arduino. This is an Arduino. This is the whole thing. It is a one-board computer. That big horizontal chip in the bottom right, that's the main computer, and all the other stuff around it lets it talk to your computer or talk to other hardware devices. There's even a USB port in the upper left corner. The idea is that you write your program in processing, connect your Arduino to the computer, download your program, and then disconnect the Arduino. Now your processing code is running on this little board, and you can connect all kinds of hardware to this board to create standalone computers that run your code. People are constantly doing amazing things with Arduinos. You can control a robot. You can control a sound synthesizer. You can create an incredible Christmas light display. A little device that watches your back door and lets you know when your pet wants to come in. You can write a little gadget that watches the web and flashes a light or plays a song when you have mail or your favorite blog has been updated or someone is trying to contact you with an instant message. People use Arduinos for sound synthesizers, creating visuals for dance clubs, controlling art pieces, and creating standalone visualizations, information kiosks, interactive maps and directories, and a million other things. The Arduino was designed for people who really don't have any hardware experience, so there is a ton of information on the web that walks you through every tiny step, from buying the Arduino to having a complete and running system. If you are interested in this idea at all, just search the web for Arduino and follow the links that speak to you. Another way to go beyond this course is to consider using other programming languages. Here are just a few of the languages that are being used all over the world to power the web, run your routers, and run all the applications that you use on your computer. The reason that there are so many languages is that each one is different in some ways, and it offers some special capabilities that most of the others don't. The good news, though, is that most of them are more alike than they are different. Once you have the basic concepts down, you can learn a new language without too much trouble. And here's the really great news: you already have those concepts. You may remember that I said that processing gets turned into Java before it runs. Well, that's not a very big step. In fact, processing looks very much like Java. And if you want to become a Java programmer, there's not that much to learn. Java is different, and you will have to make the jump, but it won't be a very high or long jump for you. Once you've made that connection, it will be just that much easier for you to learn anything else on this list, or really any other language that's being used in everyday practice. This means that you can now start collaborating with other people who might be using one of these languages. That way, you can all work together and produce work that nobody could have done all on their own. As we've seen, you can do a lot with processing. If you want to do even more, then you can use one of the built-in free libraries that are made available to you. You can use Arduino hardware to power devices, or you can dig into new programming languages that might offer some really nice strengths for your particular projects. Whether you choose to go down one of these paths or some other path, your journey of creating wonderful images, animations, and interactions is just beginning.